You know, me and Ronnie, we used to hang around the Madison Theater up there in East Atlanta with a lot of other guys and girls too, and just hang around up there about every weekend. There we were up in East Atlanta. Well, we was up there one weekend, and one Saturday night, I believe it was, and we decided that we was going to break into that show after they closed up, that they probably had some money in there. So I went back there and I got a little piece of cardboard or something, whatever it was, piece of a popcorn box or some crap, and I put it in one of them double doors, you know, them doors like they have in schools where you can go out but you can't go back in. Well, I just blocked up the latch there so we could get back in, you know, after they closed up and got a little late. And that's what I did. So we hung around East Atlanta, messed around doing this, went down to Brownwood Park, hung around a little bit. And then about 1 o'clock in the morning, we walked back up there in East Atlanta, went back behind the show, and went to those doors, but they were locked. We couldn't get in. So I guess they checked them all before they locked up and found that piece of paper I put there. So that little plan went south real quick. So there we was, you know, so, well, I guess we're not going to be able to break into the show tonight. Anyway, we was really just going to walk home. But we noticed something. There was a car back there in that parking lot. There was only one in that parking lot. And I don't know who said it, but one of us said, man, let's go over and check that thing out. Maybe we can get that car, get in that car or something, you know, whatever. Well, we got up to it and the windows was down. You know, it was in the middle of summer, the windows was down. Looked over in it and the keys was in the ignition. So we took the car. We figured we'd just steal this damn car and do some damn joyriding. And that's what we done. We jumped in that car and took off in it. And it was a fairly new car. It was about a 63 Impala, I think, you know, so it was a newer car. And we couldn't wonder who would have left it back there, but you know, it was back there. So we headed up to Atlanta. We was going to go up there and see if we could get into some mischief up in Atlanta. Maybe find a couple of girls walking around, you know, that kind of teenage kind of nonsense. So we went up there, and on the way up there, he picked up this kind of a drunk or wino or something and give him a ride because he was going up in the little 5 Points and we was going to be going right through there. So, you know, told him to jump in the back, and we rode right along. So, nothing was really said, but he told us he can get out up there to Zesto. And so we pulled over, and he was getting out and everything, and he turned and says, I tell you what, boys, for poor boys like us, things can go south real quick. So you better watch yourself what you're doing. So I don't know where y'all got this car, but y'all don't look like y'all belong in this car. And that was it. So we left, and he went on, and we went up to Cooking Chicken on Ponce de Leon and just parked in there and got a Coke or something. We didn't really have no money or nothing, but we had enough of Coca-Cola, I guess. So we just pulled in there and watched all them other teenagers in there. You know, it was kind of a hangout at that time, like the Varsity and a few other kind of places. And one of us suggested, let's look in the trunk back there. Let's see, maybe there's something back there we can pawn or sell, spare tire, something. So yeah, we got out, we walked behind it, and we opened the trunk, and there was a body in there. There was a dead man in there. He was in a suit. And boy, we was just standing there, and we was looking at the body in that trunk, and we was looking at each other, and finally we just shut the hood and got back in the car, and things were kind of silent for a while. I said, Ronnie, what the hell are we going to do now? He said, let's just leave this damn car here and hitchhike home. I said, yeah, I guess we can do that, but I tell you what, I got a better idea. I don't want the police to find this car or find that body. So why don't we just drive out in the country and get rid of that body and get rid of the car too, and it could never in any kind of way be connected up with us. So we agreed to do that. We rode out in the country, way out there, right out there on Fairview Road. And it was, at that time, there was nothing out there. No houses, no gas, nothing. It was just a road to nowhere, really. But there was an old dirt road out there that led down to some kind of little fishing pond. So we went down that old dirt road and found a spot, and we said, all right, let's drag this body back in the woods and let's try to bury it as much as we could, cover it up with some sticks or something, and then just walk back home. Couldn't hitchhike because there wasn't no cars going to be coming down through there, and if it did, they wouldn't pick up a couple of them grubby looking guys like us. So that's what we did. We drug the body out in the woods, and we went home. Well, that was about 50 years ago, I guess, something like that. Nothing, we hardly ever talked about it and anything, and nothing was, never heard nothing about anything. So I guess, if anything, we assumed, probably that car might still be there, and the body done be a skeleton by now. But I guess, like a lot of other things teenagers got wrong, we got that one wrong. Well, Ronnie, he was executed last week. I'll be executed tonight. Because, the police did find that body, and they did find that car, and there was fingerprints on that wallet that we just threw out on the ground. There was fingerprints, our fingerprints, all over that car. And we got convicted of that murder, kidnapping, just all kind of charges we didn't even understand, and sentenced to death. And that was about 10 years ago, and now it's our turn. So that's it. They're going to come to get me any time now, I guess. I'm looking at the clock, and it's kind of past time for it. Maybe, I don't really know. But I'll be gone tonight. Ronnie's, like I said, he was already been executed. But Ronnie said something to me one time, years and years ago. We was talking about that guy and that night. He said, something? We didn't kill that guy, but we did something real bad that night. And I said, yeah, well, what's that? He said, we stole money from a dead man. Because that's what we did. We found his wallet and we took money out of it. He had about $40 in there. And Ronnie said, we stole money from a dead man. And he said, that's like stealing nickels off a dead man's eyes.